Hey everyone, it's AVD, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to 2022. As usual, I have new graphics, a brand new channel redesign, and in fact this year, brand new lights. So I hope you guys like the new look of the channel, and hopefully find these videos a lot better to look at than they previously were. Now, the video I'm making today is something that a lot of YouTubers have already done. In fact, this is probably one of the most commonly used video ideas on YouTube. But the way I'm going to set myself apart from the rest of, well, the videos on YouTube is by making this on something general, and that's technology. So, dear technology, there's a couple of things that I think are really important for us to know about, and I think could potentially define what our future could be like if the things I talk about in this video aren't utilized correctly. So, let's first of all start off with deepfakes, shall we? Now, if you've never ever heard of a deepfake, I don't blame you, because you've probably seen a deepfake video without even noticing one. And I'll give you the biggest offender of all of them. Videos where you have politicians saying stuff that they actually didn't. Now, in a deepfake, there's more than just a simple face swap. In fact, there's a head swap that goes on. So, you take someone else's head and superimpose it on top of your subject's head. So you're effectively putting someone else's head onto someone they actually aren't. And also, deepfakes involve faking someone's voice through AI and machine learning. And in fact, it is AI and machine learning that enables this technology in the first place. And it's kind of scary if you think about it, because if someone has enough data about you, they could effectively train AI to make a fake copy of yourself, which could potentially take over your identity and say stuff that you actually didn't. Now, the way this works is kind of ingenious. What people do with deepfakes is supply an AI a bunch of photos of someone. So this is from multiple angles to help build an entire model of someone's face. So this is pretty much 3D modeling, but it's done with a bunch of photos, which the AI then takes and stitches together to then make an entire head of a person. And similarly, voice synthesis works on a very similar manner, where you can just provide a bunch of voice samples and then accordingly train AI to synthesize that voice. Now, this stuff is kind of scary, to be honest. We've had videos of politicians saying stuff they haven't said. And this technology is getting even more easily accessible for people nowadays. In fact, there's wonderful tools such as Deepface Lab and Deepface Live, which allow you to do this right on your computer, as long as you have a bunch of computing horsepower. Now let me tell you, this stuff requires an absolute load of computing power, because to train an AI, you need to have stuff that can effectively crunch data together. And this is why people who run this stuff have extremely spec'd out machines. So, if you want to try and run a deepfake on your machine, I highly suggest you don't, because you're probably going to break the thing before you even try. So, my inspiration for this video came from another video by a channel called Corridor Crew, who make a bunch of videos on VFX, that is visual effects, and also deepfakes. Now, most recently there was this program called Deepface Live, which I just mentioned, that came out. And what this enables people to do nowadays is to superimpose someone else's head on theirs in real time. Now, the guys over at Corridor Crew did this for fun. They just did this as more of a tech demo to just show you how you could effectively fool people with such technology. And I'm kind of worried after looking at the results of Deepface Live, because they managed to fool a couple of people. The more and more this technology gets accessible to people, the more and more this can be misused. And as much as deepfakes are a fun idea to play around with in terms of maybe fun jokes and stuff, people can then start creating evidence which actually wasn't there in the first place. And if you see where I'm going, if you have a criminal case where you need someone and you need evidence to support arresting someone, for example, this effectively enables you to bend reality almost, and this is really, really not good. And as a result, I really, really do not want to see deepfakes move beyond what is just an experimental stage, because there's people out there who always misuse technology, and this is no different. Now, this next thing I want to talk about is something I feel is more of a moral issue than anything else. In fact, you've probably had this in your newsfeed for the past few months, ever since Facebook became the new Meta.
Your jokes suck!
Alright, not so funny jokes aside, ever since Facebook announced its plans to build what they call a Metaverse, I've been kind of invested into this stuff. In fact, I've been reading about it quite often, I've been watching videos on the topic, and my opinions are not very positive on the same. Now, the whole thing with the Metaverse is effectively creating an alternate reality where people can connect with people in the form of avatars. And rewatching Facebook's Metaverse conference thing, I'm not sure if I really like it. If you have a look at the clip I'm playing on screen right now, it's of a bunch of people who are in this alternate reality, quote unquote, floating above the earth in what is a spacecraft. And to me, I don't really think this is what we need as a race, because as humanity, I feel that AR and VR, that's augmented reality and virtual reality, need to be used to enhance our lives, rather than creating an alternate form of living for us. This is something which I feel is being misunderstood currently, because as someone that wants to work in the space, I don't really think we're heading in the right direction here. The whole reason we invented technology was to try and make stuff easier to do. Now I get the idea of saying that this makes this easier to connect for us, but trying to sideline ourselves to VR and trying to sideline ourselves to stuff that's not real anymore doesn't really make sense. Social media in itself is already pushing us to the brink where we're in a half real, half fake reality. Because stuff on social media such as avatars and names aren't really real most of the time. I might use my real name, but there's people online who have separate identities almost compared to their physical lives. And this is not good in my opinion, because the more and more we start to push ourselves towards a virtual world, the more we lose sense of what the physical world actually is. And I think these past 2 years of anything have really taught me that if anything, we need to be getting out there and meeting each other, rather than trying to sideline ourselves to something such as virtual reality. And I honestly think that virtual reality, if used in the right ways, can be used to enhance the way we visualize and perceive different things. In fact, these could work as brilliant learning tools and accordingly help you to visualize stuff a lot easier. For example, augmented reality or AR allows you to place stuff in the real world, and so you can get an actual physical idea of what it looks like without actually having to own that object. And I think stuff like that is really cool. However, when you start to add stuff like VR into metaverses, which is, well, a fake reality, I think this defeats the sole purpose of humanity. That's all I have for today, guys. I know this video is slightly on the shorter side, but that's because I made these observations a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to dive as deep as possible in this video without getting too deep, which is the reason for the lack of length in this video. But I hope you guys understand that. Otherwise, in terms of content, probably do expect to see a video or two coming in the next couple of weeks. There's one that I've been working on for a long time at this point, and I really can't wait to share this with all of you. Anyways, if you did enjoy this video, however, a like and sub to the channel would be massively appreciated, as I'm trying to grow this to as many people as possible. Anyways, that's all I have for today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.